What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platform? Welcome to another episode of Talk Your Talk. And guess who we got today? We got Big Dash knows what? Big Dash knows football, man. Big Dash. What's going on, Big Dash?
Now, what's going on, Pat, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Man. And
Yeah.
a lot of things happening in these sports streets, these giant streets. Oh, it's sad to be a Giants fan right now, but it is what it is, man. So Dash is going to talk his talk about whatever he wants to talk his talk about in sports. And we're going to be right back after this intro. Let's get it.
Racing Kev, Racing Man.
All right. We are back, and Mr. Dash on the mic, man. As you know, what we do here on Talk Your Talk, man. All the great content creators that you guys see in these content creator streets, Big Pat Sports Talk brings them to you, man, and let them talk. They talk about whatever they want to talk about in sports. So, Dash, kick us off, man. What we gonna talk about, man? What you got on your chest that you need to get off? Or just to be cordial. What's going on, man?
It'll be. I'll probably jump around a little bit, just a tad bit. I want to start off with this though. I tried to change my mindset a little bit at the end of the season. Once the Super Bowl got played, and I was complaining about Joe Shane and Brian Dable from like early November, moving all the way to February. I said, you know what? Let me calm down a bit. It's time. We're getting into the draft period. We're getting into the Senior Bowl and the Combine and all of those. I said, you know what? Let the positivity and the optimism come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it. For a little bit, but you know what? No matter how bad I try, there's always things that trigger me. And obviously, the issue of Shedeur Sanders is something that I've been arguing with a lot of people about. And how this young man has been getting dragged through the mud for no reason. You would think that this kid was awful, like he had an arrest record. He out there running it up in the club or something like that. He out there riding with choppers on his laps. You know, like we've seen people do in the past. And we drafted some players like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, I don't understand the hate, and that's where I'm going to start at. The hate for Shedeur Sanders. And I don't understand. I'll say that first. I won't say I don't understand. I do know what's happening. I don't understand why it's happening, because anybody else who comes from what did they call it when your father played from like a NFL lineage or something like that? What is it called? I can't remember what the word they use.
Oh man, I can't remember
the word that they use for it.
Yeah,
but
something like lineage. You can use lineage.
Something like that, right? But when you talk about any other son of a football player, the Matthews for the offensive line, right? The Matthews family. You got linebackers and offensive linemen. The Manning family. You got all quarterbacks. You know, nobody ever gets a negative because their father played in the NFL, except for Shedeur Sanders. And it's crazy to me how people can dismiss, and I know you heard it too, how they can dismiss the talent that they see.
Yeah, and I don't understand it.
They dismiss it. So, for me, I know I put out, I don't know how long ago it was. I put out the clips where I put together Joe Burrow and Shedeur Sanders, back-to-back plays with both of these guys. And I said, my comp for Shedeur Sanders is Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
2 million. I never had 2 million hits on a comment ever. And a lot of it was people laughing, people joking, people saying that I'm crazy. And then you fast forward, and this was like probably January, and you fast forward it, and I'm seeing a lot of other people mention Joe Burrow when it comes to, and not just regular old me, YouTube guy. You're seeing some of these other analysts say that as well. And I'm like, you know what? People just going to hate for whatever reason they want to hate. We could say it's a black thing, but some people will say, you know what, Cam Ward is better than Shedeur Sanders. I'm not going to argue about shit. I don't want to pin those two guys against each other. I'm not for that. I don't want to pin these quarterbacks against each other, period. Jackson Dart, I actually like Jackson Dart a little bit. But when people try to throw Jackson Dart in the same pool as Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, that's when I got to stop and sit back and say, you know what? We're not having it, man. Mm-hmm. We are not having it. And they blame the competition. They say he didn't play tough competition.
Man, and you know what's crazy? Everything, bro.
Yeah. So, and it's funny to me because, he didn't play top competition. The top quarterbacks in the league right now didn't play top competition in college. Patrick Mahomes, Big 12. Josh Allen. I don't even know what was that, the Mountain West? Wyoming plays in? Who's the other guy? Lamar Jackson played in the ACC. And nobody's complaining about that skill level. And to me right now, especially these couple of years, recent years, the Big 12 was better than the ACC. And then the year before this, Colorado played in the Pac-12. And guess who else played in the Pac-12? Caleb Williams, the number 1 draft pick. And nobody talked about the level of competition he played against.
Exactly.
And when he played at Oklahoma, it was what it was then. So to me, I just think that no matter what people say, no matter what Shedeur Sanders does, or how many analysts bring up the tape, how much proof you show them, they're just not satisfied with the kid, and I just don't understand why. But you know what I do love though, that despite all of this, you never see him break character. He's always smiling, and I think I love that the most. But I tell you what, though, let the New York Giants get him.
Yeah,
I might be a little petty. I might be a little petty. I might have to spin the block on a couple of people, especially if he turns out being as good as a lot of us think he is.
You already know me. I'm spinning the block. I'm spinning the block.
I'm telling you, man. It's people, and it's crazy too, because it's people that every day they're under somebody else's comments, about Shedeur Sanders. They post something good about Shedeur Sanders, and there's a couple of guys too, and it's funny too. What was it? Bucky Sanders, Deion Sanders Jr. This guy on Twitter. I'm gonna say names since it's talk. Say it with your chest. The guy's name is First Round Mock, right?
Oh, he's an idiot.
Whatever. Yeah. And every time he posts something, he says, "As a former scout." And guess what? We understand why
you're a former scout. That's a fact. You understand why you're a former scout. So
we understand it. Yep.
Let me ask you this. This is Talk Your Talk. As far as what you've watched of Shedeur Sanders at Colorado, if you watched his games, and let's just say you're turning into a film guy, I tap my shoulder on that, a little bit. People watch film. Big Pat was putting that out there.
That's a fact. Pat, yeah, we know. I see your work.
Of what you've watched of Shedeur Sanders, first and foremost, do you think that he can last in the NFL? And if so, if he's the guy that you want the Giants to draft, give me the reasons why. Just give me a little bit of your Shedeur Sanders history of why you think this guy is being railroaded and seriously underrated. Just talk about that.
Yeah, so I had to start from the beginning. Like I said, I'm a little bit biased. I remember when Deion Sanders had the reality show. And I remember when those kids were little, Pop Warner age, right? So I've been a fan. Me and my wife used to watch that show, and because it reminded me of my middle son, Shedeur with the curly hair and all the curly fro and all that other stuff. So I took a liking to both of the brothers, right? And then fast forward, I didn't follow their careers. I didn't follow their careers. As far as high school goes. But I knew he had a scholarship to like Central Florida, and stuff like that. But when Deion Sanders decided to make that move to Jackson State, he followed him. And that's when I started watching, Shedeur Sanders again. And I watched him at Jackson State. Shout out to Deion Sanders for, doing what he did there. And then when they moved to Colorado, I actually liked the move. A lot of people were against the move for Deion leaving the HBCUs and going to the Power 5. But to me, I always saw the bigger picture. It's not just, okay, Deion Sanders is HBCU coach. Let's see what he can do there. but it's about what he can do for our community in Colorado. Taking those kids from them southern areas, because we know how he recruits. A lot of those is warm weather kids, and he taking them all the way to Colorado, showing them a different experience. But also he's disciplined, and he's like a father figure to all these guys, and he don't take no mess. And you see the way that he raised these boys. A lot of people say, "Oh, they rich. He's a silver spoon kid." No, if you really know Deion Sanders, he's frugal. He ain't spending a lot of money. That's why he still got money. That's why he still got money. And he raised those kids. Now the kids are flashy, just like they pops. The apple don't fall far from the tree. A lot of people been saying that lately. But when you get to Colorado, and that team was a 1-win team before they got there. When he got there, he had a successful season. Didn't have as many wins, but he turned it from a 1-win program to a 4-win program. And then that final season, it kind of solidified it, because he was already my favorite quarterback. I won't say my favorite quarterback, because then when he decided to go back in 2024, I was like, oh man, his father, he behind that offensive line, he gonna get him killed trying to play.
Facts.
He gonna get him killed if he go back.
Thing.
Yeah,
offensive line will get him murdered.
I'm like, but then you see him this season, and again, he can't choose who he plays against. But when you also talk about the competition, you figure that's Colorado still too. It's not like Alabama playing in the Big 12 against a bunch of scrubs. No, you got a Colorado team that's still building, trying to make a name for themselves, going against competition that's comparable to what they are as a team too, and making those wins. And what did he do? He ran off 4,000 yards, 39 touchdowns, and despite and what the highest completion percentage in college football history too. But people want to hate on that too, talking about, he played Colorado State, or he played Texas Tech and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Nobody said that about Drake May when he played at UNC in the ACC, and he wasn't even winning a lot of games. You look at Cam Ward. Shout out to Cam Ward too, in the ACC, beating up a lot of teams that weren't too good. But when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, it's just an extra oomph that they put on it. But let's talk about his skills really quickly, because I'm rambling. He's not as athletic, and people better be lucky he's not as athletic as his father is, because he would be an absolute monster if that was the case.
He would.
But also him not
everything.
Yeah, I know. But then also with him being limited athletic, I say limited because he can still move a bit. I don't even like saying the word limited. He's not as athletic as his pops. It kind of helped him in his processing and actually being a quarterback from the pocket. And that's one thing that I love about Shedeur Sanders is he's not the quote unquote traditional running black quarterback. He is a pocket passer with the ability to scramble and extend plays. Nothing too crazy. I don't expect him to run QB powers, run the RPO too much and anything like that, because that's not his game. But I love how he is cerebral, and he is a surgeon when it comes to being on the field. I saw it was an interview. I can't remember who did it, but it was the Cosell guy. Not Howard Cosell. The Cosell guy was like, when he was watching Shedeur Sanders, he said a lot of people talk about his anticipation, and he said there's a difference between anticipation and predetermination. And that kind of stuck with me too, because I always said, you know what? I love his anticipation. I see that as one of his strong suits. But then I started thinking about, okay, well, let me look at his film a little bit with this predetermination. And it does make a lot of sense. But after going back and watching him again, it's like, no, he does have anticipation. He has enough arm strength to get the ball where it needs to go. And in the timing is fantastic. And I just like the kid, man. I just like him.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. And I'm going to play an interview for Dash, and I'm going to ask him my hard-hitting question after this interview I play. So we'll be right back.
organization that really put Daniel Jones in the forefront and carried him in that type of light, man, on national TV.
$223. The suspension also opens the door for the Texans to release Al-Shahir.
Then in 1976, guess who was hired? Atis fans. This is where preference plays the biggest.
I'm gonna have to knock this down and get the oohs and ahs of Houston.
Welcome to the Aboriginal Sports Network.
All right, that's the Aboriginal Sports Network official intro. I'd like to thank y'all guys for tuning in, man. We got Big Dash Nose, and I want to play this interview for you, Dash, and I want you to evaluate this interview, and then I'm going to ask my question after the interview. So let's get into it.
It's a day-by-day process. My most important thing right now is just getting better every day, getting stronger, getting in more shape. That's the only thing I'm focused on right now, and I'm just ready to get to the team.
You stand in the pocket, you want to make throws, you don't give a damn if you're about to get hit. Growing up, who do you model your game after? Who did you watch?
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm able to see what he has done and mentally how he was able to beat people with the mind. So it's physically. That's why he was able to play to the year he was able to play. I see what he's doing. Okay, I add this to the game, and that's why I know I'm not at my best product yet. I'm nowhere near where I need to be and where I want to be and where I desire to be, because it's certain things going into the offseason you have to work on, you have to grow at, you have to be able to indulge in one step at a time. To be able to just debrief and decompress and everything, it was Mike Vick. He's somebody that I talk to because he knows the ups, the downs, and everything about this game. So I'm able to have a conversation with him, and he's able to give me all the insight and the knowledge that he has, that where he did good, where he went wrong, on how he should have did this. So that's why I'm thankful to have a mentor like him also.
It's one thing, like in your game, you look at to go, I want to be better, right? Like
footwork drops.
Yeah.
That's consistently. Sometimes I know I drift in the pocket. Sometimes it's a day.
So that was a clip of an interview that he did.
Yep.
And what the question I want to ask you, bro, is they played the interview when he went up there and on the podium, and he said, hey, look, don't draft me if you're not ready to change the culture of your team. We've been to Jackson State and Colorado, and we changed the culture in both places to where we had success, and he did. Colorado coming off a 1-11 season, and 2 seasons got them to be a 9-win team. Jackson State, they weren't doing very well until they got there and went back-to-back championships and back-to-back, I think, the total championship losses in those 2 games.
Yep.
Why do you think they say those things about Shedeur Sanders, but when you hear interviews like this, do you hear arrogance? Do you hear brashness? Do you hear laziness? Do you hear a person that's not ready to work? Do you hear a person that's not a leader? You know what I'm saying? Like talk to me about interviews like that don't get the pub of other interviews to where they turn it into something that is not.
Yeah. It's to me, it's about narratives, and whatever they can use to help feed their narrative, they're going to do that. And whatever doesn't feed their narrative, they're going to push it to the side and act like it doesn't exist. I'm happy that video is gaining a little bit of gaining some tread, with the views now, because when I saw that clip, I was like, yeah, the kid does not sound arrogant, or brash, but there's times where he is confident and overly confident, but I don't have a problem with him being confident. And I think if we're going to be absolutely honest here, when you look at where he came from, there's no such thing as a big room to Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion. He's already been bred for this. He's been around the superstars, or Tom Brady. He named Tom Brady as a mentor. You can't get no bigger than Tom Brady,
right?
and then when he's speaking to these other athletes that have been through their ups and downs, like when he said he spoke with Michael Vick, he speaks to Michael Vick. That's another mentor for him. And you look at Michael Vick's career; he went from the highest of highs to out of the league and sitting in the cell, and came back and was able to rise to a certain height again. So when you have a superstar like Michael Vick tell you, like, you know what, I came in as the man, and when I did something and I wasn't good for anybody, they put me on, they put me away. I had to fight for that back. So it's a different approach as a kid that has never had anything, who's thankful for every chance that he gets. And when they're in a certain room with a certain demographic, they humble themselves. And one thing about Shedeur Sanders, and he did it every week. He used to put out a quote, not a quote, but a post that says, "Thank you, God." He only got to be humble to God. That's it.
That's it.
Everybody else is just a regular person to him. Oh, you're an executive for this football team. Okay, it is what it is. I already know what I am, and people don't like that kind of confidence coming from people that look like Shedeur Sanders. Be honest. If we're gonna be honest,
and if this was a Jackson Dart or a Will Howard had the success at Ohio State that Shedeur Sanders had at Colorado, would they be saying these things? Oh, he got a backwards hat. Dart had a backwards hat.
Dart had the chain on too.
Yeah,
Dart had the chain on too. Yeah.
It's just a weird thing. But what do you think if we do draft Shedeur Sanders here to the New York Giants? How much turmoil do you think that he will have to go through as far as being the quarterback of the New York Giants? What are some of the hurdles that he will have to go through? What are some of the, the vitriol that he received? Like, how do you think his tenure would be here with the New York Giants?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm absolutely confident in what in Shedeur Sanders and what he can do. I'm not going to be unreasonable. Like, he does not have the same arm as a Cam Ward. He does. He's not the type to run around like Patrick Mahomes, even though he's done it on occasions. He's not Cam Ward. So I have certain expectations for Shedeur Sanders. He is a quick game quarterback, and he'll take the occasional shots downfield. Now, that's what we saw at Colorado because the offensive line, that's the scheme. You got to get the ball out quick. That's something that New York Giants fans are absolutely, familiar with. If you give him a solid offensive line and he can operate out of the pocket, I almost promise you that you're going to see a lot more deep shots because he's absolutely able to do that. So I expect if we get Shedeur Sanders, I expect to hit the ground running, to be honest, because unlike a lot of people, I think we still have some players on this team. I still think we have some weapons on this team. And I'll say this, just like the offensive line helps the quarterback, good quarterback play helps the offensive line too. And if you got a guy that's quick to make decisions, nowhere to go with the ball, and can do that at a precise level, you'll see him elevate the entire team. And that's the whole thing that we've been arguing about for years. Even when it came to Daniel Jones, I've been back and forth on Daniel Jones and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, your quarterback needs to elevate everybody. It ain't just the team elevating your quarterback. And when you look down the road at a division rival, guy like Jaden Daniels, I don't care what you guys say or anybody tells me, that offensive line ain't the best. Jaden Daniels elevated that team. He put that team on his shoulder. Now, he did have playmakers. The defense played well at occasions, but just think about our first game against them, second week. We had him dead to rights with a couple of sacks. He wiggle loose, run for the first down, or wiggle loose and make a play downfield. And he's getting out of sacks. You can't tell me with good quarterback play, consistent good quarterback play, that guys like, well, we know Malik Neighbors would be better, but guys like Wan'Dale Robinson getting the ball in stride where he can become a yak monster like he was at Kentucky. Maybe even Jalen Hyatt can get the ball. You know what I mean? What you can do with Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger as safety valves as well. And then, I just see, for me, it's good quarterback play is the beginning. I think, and he absolutely has it. So I think we can absolutely be successful. I think he becomes a franchise quarterback quick, and he also has the aura too. We talk about New York City here, and that's the funny thing.
Aura to not be bothered in New York City. That's a fact.
And that's the funny thing about me, because people hate him so much when he's like, when you think about New York City, flashy. It's supposed to be a flashy city. It's a bunch of snobs and arrogant people in New York City. And you tell them you got a quarterback that fits the characteristics of the city and you don't want it. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think he'd be good for the city.
Keep asking, man. People were ready to sell their souls for Drake May last year. Give up your whole draft for Drake May. You got to get your quarterback when you're up there to get your quarterback. So now you're here to get your quarterback. What happened?
Yeah.
He actually played better than Drake May in college and had better stats. And
That's
I think he's a better prospect than Drake May. Only thing Drake May has on him is he can run a little bit faster and maybe a little bit stronger arm. But other than that, the intangibles are greater than just about everybody in that last draft almost.
Yeah, he's definitely a better quarterback. Like there's certain things like, okay, Drake May has a cannon. He absolutely does. He can run. He's 6'4". That's cool. But when it comes to playing the quarterback position, Shedeur got him beat. Just like last year, you were a Penix fan, just like I was a Penix fan. I had Penix fan higher than Drake May last year.
Me too.
And look, well, guess what? We'll find out though, because he's going to be the starter this year in Atlanta.
Yeah, we'll find out. And I think they're going to be dynamite over there in Atlanta.
They might win the division.
They put that offensive line in front of them. I think they can win that division. That's a fact.
Yep.
But that's the whole Shedeur Sanders saga, man. If you want to hear more about what we want to say about the whole Shedeur Sanders thing, the things that we can't say here on YouTube, we have the Patreon, and we call it New York Giants Uncut. That's what we call it. NFL Uncut and NBA Uncut. We say some of the things that you can't say here on YouTube that people want to say about certain situations in sports. So that's what we do. So we're going to get to a commercial break, and man, we're going to talk about the NFC East and the NFL in general, man. We got Big Dash on the mic, man. Y'all tune in.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs.
Sometimes the fire. Sometimes the fire. Sometimes the fire.
Hey, Sean, you at home right now? Get back in there. I'm gonna kick your
Sometimes the fire.
It's your guy. What you gotta say to the camera? Yes, sir. You waited.
Going as all you want to. We built for this shit. We don't fold, motherfucker. We don't fucking fold.
John, I got you better than this. Sometimes the fire. Sometimes the fire.
All right, we got a little bit of breaking news in the NFL, man. All right, man. We're going to talk about the NFC East, man. And it's looking like the NFC East are taking turns on signing their own players back. Some of these players I wanted the Giants to get, people like Odigizua from the Cowboys. You got Saquon Barkley being re-signed over there with the Eagles. You know, it seems like the NFC East are making moves. The Deebo Samuel trade for the Commanders. What the heck are we doing over here in the NFC East, man? Why are we so far behind on everything? You know what the New York Giants have done so far? You got the Cowboys and the Eagles restructuring contracts. They're releasing people, probably to pick up Darius Slay back up here soon. The Eagles release Darius Slay to bring back people like CJ Gardner-Johnson. They cut dead Wade and Bradbury. You know what we've done? We've signed Casey Crater, the lone snapper. And it's looking like the NFC East looks like we're last place again in the offseason as far as getting things done. Like, what's up, Dash? Like, who's sleep? Who needs to wake up? What's going on over here in the NFC East, man? Somebody got to do something, bro.
Yeah, no, we definitely are asleep at the wheel, man. Just like you said, just like you pointed out, we signed Casey Crater. That's fantastic. We got the long snapper locked in. I don't have no issues with Casey Crater. He's been solid. He does his job. It's fantastic. but we already know that they need to make some room with the cap. Like we've seen other people already talk about reworking deals. Like to your point, we talk about people that are going to be released in the future, and we're not getting a peep from the New York Giants right now. I think that the only thing that I heard of is we might possibly pick up not the franchise tag, but the 5th-year option on Kayvon Thibodeau. That might have been the only thing I heard, and that was weeks ago. But we haven't heard anything about this guy getting cut, this guy getting a contract restructured. And there's some deals that could be done. There's some contracts that could be touched, and we can make a lot of money or make a lot of cap space going on. And again, the New York Giants are waiting to the last minute. And to me, it just seems like they're asleep. Joe Shane, wake up. Somebody got to wake up over there.
Yeah, somebody got to wake up, man, because this is an important season for the regime of Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. Let's just keep it a buck. You're going to have to win some games in order to stay in your positions that you have. And right now, you are allowing the NFC East to do it to you again. You see the Eagles didn't let Zach Bond go.
Yep.
Zach Bond was a huge part of that team, and him being the linebacker that he was helped him out tremendously. You see the Cowboys didn't let Odigizua go because he shined last year. They say, you know what? We're going to give you $20 million a year. Forget it. Give it to him.
Get it over.
The Eagles re-signed Barkley, made him the highest paid running back in NFL history, over $20 million a year, which I knew that he was going to get. And it seems that the Eagles could continue to sign players, and still bring more talent in on top of it. We seem to lose players, like the news of Okereke. Now all of a sudden, people at the top are saying Okereke is not a good look anymore. Like, what's going on, man, with these dudes, man?
I'm glad you brought that up because that's something that I touched on earlier, Paul's the whole Bobby Okereke thing. And then I had some people, chirp back and they say, that story came from Pat Leonard, and you can't trust Pat Leonard. Pat Leonard's always putting out fake news. But I'll say this though, even with the Pat Leonard situation, put that to the side. People were talking bad about Bobby Okereke this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the same player. He's not having the same impact. And people always tell you the what, but never tell you the why, or never try to figure out what the why is. Why is he having a down year? Why is he not having those splash plays? Because they changed his role.
Yep.
They got a new scheme in here, and you change his role. And guess what? The role that he used to play, who's playing it? Micah McFadden. Yep. Guess who had a strong season this year with over 100 tackles? Micah McFadden, because he's playing in that same role that Bobby Okereke played in the year prior. So for me, with some people you can argue with, some people you just let them talk and keep it going. But for me, it's too many people out here talking about Bobby Okereke fell off when you look at him, he's out there covering hook the curl. You done turn a run and chase linebacker into a zone coverage linebacker covering hook the curl on 75% of the plays.
It's just bad, bro.
Hook the curl, bad. Bobby. Hook the curl, Bobby. And then when they run the ball, you know what? We ain't got nobody to cover the gaps. You got a guard in your face, a tackle in your face, a center in your face, and you got to try to share block because we can't hold the gaps. But listen, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Bobby Okereke. He didn't forget how to play. It's just that for me, Shane Bowen, because I thought I would have bet the house that Shane Bowen was getting fired. The house.
Me too.
I've been homeless, Pat.
Straight homeless.
Yeah, but
Straight
you know what?
Homeless.
You want to give him another chance. He needs to look at this roster up and down and say, you know what? This is not the Tennessee Titans. This is the New York Giants. I need to build around the strengths of these players and get you some defensive tackle help. Get Deck some help on the front.
That's a fact. So, as you can see on the screen here, there's been some breaking news of some receivers being released. Tyler Lockett's been released. Devontae Adams has been released. DK Metcalf is on the trade market. Christian Kirk has been released. Hunter Renfrow actually retired. Mm-hmm. I thought he'd been retired the way they used him over there in Oakland. I don't know if he had a bad injury or what, but he had a good year and then he just fell off a cliff. There's some guys like Stephon Diggs out there, Keenan Allen, B-Hop. It's T. Higgins is on the franchise tag. You can trade for him if you feel he's a franchise type guy. I want you to tell me about some of these guys in free agency, not just the receiver position, but just tell me about some guys in free agency that you feel the New York Giants should target in this free agency, man.
On either side of the ball?
On either side of the ball.
Yeah. Well, since you started talking about the wide receivers, I'll start there. And I'll say this too. Unpopular opinion. Shout out to my man NYG.
Shout out to NYG, man.
Shout out to NYG. So for me, a lot of people are heavy in the wide receiver. I guess looking at the wide receivers, who's available and all that. I do believe that the New York Giants need somebody to step up as their wide receiver too. But I also believe this: like you drafted a guy, traded up for a guy in Jalen Hyatt, and you barely played him last year, to the point where we really don't even know what he is, and to the point where a lot of people are calling him a bust. So to me, look there first. Look there first, because he doesn't cost you any more money. He don't cost you any more money. But when you look at the guys that are available right now, or the names that are out there right now, I'm good with the Stephon Diggs. I'm good with the DK Metcalf, because what he can do, he's gonna garner attention from the defense and open things up for everybody else, like a perfect system should work. But I really want to see what we have with the guys in the building. If you do get a chance to get a guy like DK Metcalf, I'll say this: you better have a quarterback that can distribute the ball and make everybody happy, because we already know a guy like DK Metcalf, if he ain't getting the ball, you're gonna know about it.
Yeah,
Stephon Diggs, if he ain't getting the ball,
you're gonna know about it. Devontae Adams, if he ain't getting the ball, you're gonna know about it.
You're gonna hear about it. B-Hop, if you don't get the ball,
you're gonna know about it.
Yeah, but those are some of the guys. And then for defense, I want a reunion. I want to bring back BJ Hill from Cincinnati. I want to put him on the defensive line. That's a name that's going around. And then recently, I believe the Bucs are flirting with releasing Jamel Dean, the cornerback.
Yeah, they're flirting with releasing him.
And if he don't want to take the pay cut, I think they're going to release him. I would do that too. Jamel Dean is a big physical corner. We play in the NFC East. We can use another big physical corner, but hopefully we can play him right.
Man, my wish list, man, is Charvarius Ward, because I know that he could play against AJ Brown. He's done it before, and he plays against DK Metcalf twice a year. A BJ Hill or Milton Williams at defensive tackle for sure.
Yep.
Give me Justin Simmons at safety. I like Justin Simmons at safety. As a grown man in the room, and he knows what he's doing, and he can allow Tyler Nubin to grow into a role on his defense. The offensive side, man, I want to trade for DK Metcalf, because we just need somebody to come in here and be a bully. We need a bully in here, man.
I like it. I didn't know Simmons was available. The safety. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Justin Simmons is available. Okay. You know, the Falcons only signed him to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And as far as the offensive lineman, give me Daniels or the Bears.
See, Jenkins. There you go. A lot of people don't say that name.
Guard. Yeah.
A lot of people ain't talking about James Daniels.
Yeah, James Daniels is nice.
Yep.
You know what
I remember James Daniels at Iowa. Yeah. Yep.
Pretty much. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Pretty much, I'm just saying that Joe Shane's going to have to spend some money, and we're going to have to do some void contracts. You see what I'm saying? We're going to have to, put some void years in some of those contracts. You're going to have to restructure people like Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, people of such that have those big deals. You're going to have to restructure those guys, so it is what it is, man, on that, bro. But other than that, that's my wish list at a free agency. Now,
that's a pretty good list.
Yeah, that's my wish list. And like I said, you're going to have to spend about all your cap money to do that. But when you look at it, what good teams have $100 million in cap room? It's happened like maybe once or twice, and it just happened this year with the Commanders because of what Jaden Daniels brought to the Commanders last year. And they were just on a roll, man. Things were going in their favor the whole season, and Jaden Daniels is just good. But now that they have film on them, you really know what Jaden Daniels can do. Let's see what they do this season, and they're going to add people like they've already done. They've already traded for Deebo Samuel, and believe it or not, You slip up and let Javarius Ward go over there to the Commanders, you really gonna get your tail whooped over here. So
yeah, we gotta wake up.
Yeah, we gotta wake up, man. But draft, we all know what. Well, we know what we want in the first round. Give me Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. I'm cool with either one of them. I prefer Shador, but I know if we get Cam Ward, we'll still be in good hands. What about the other rounds, man? What about some of these other rounds?
Yeah, man.
Who are some of the guys you're looking at, man?
You talk about language, man. This is the year of double dipping for me.
Okay.
Double dipping at the defensive tackle, double dipping all on the offensive line too as well, because there's some good guards in that 65 and that 104 range when we picking. Like if we get a chance to get a Tate Ratledge from Georgia, a tough guy.
That's NYG's boy. Tate
step
Ratledge.
On your fingers, step on your toes type guard.
Mm-hmm.
I need something like, but no, I've been eyeballing the defensive tackles a lot, man. I in all of the mock drafts that I've done, for the most part, it's been the quarterback, it's been Shador in round 1, and then when I got to the second round, it's either the top defensive tackle, top cornerback, depending on who's falling and where the best value is. But that defense, like, it's so rich in defensive tackle this year. But the funny thing is now after the combine, there's no more sleepers left.
Yeah,
nobody's a sleeper anymore. Everybody that I thought will be there, possibly in the 6th round, the Lord's Prayer in the 7th round, that's not going to happen anymore. You got the kid I thought we can get the kid from Nebraska late. He want to go to the combine and run a 4.8, 840. Talking about Ty Robinson.
Ty Robinson. We actually got an interview with Ty Robinson at the Senior Bowl.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And I told him, I said, man, you go to the combine and you do what I think you're gonna do, because I was like, dude, you got some explosion. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna show it at the combine. I was like, yeah, Ty Robinson. And every time I watched Nebraska play, man, I was like, man, who is that dude?
He was popping.
Keeps getting in there like that. Like,
he was popping.
He was a monster,
especially against Colorado.
Man, when he played Colorado, I said, man, this dude is owning the offensive line over there in Colorado. But Ty Robinson's a beast, bro.
Yeah, and then there's a couple other guys. I throw out some guys I thought that were sleepers too. A guy that surprised me, and I didn't really watch him a lot during the season, but once we got into the Senior Bowl and the combine, Jamari Caldwell from Oregon.
Yep.
He's another one. I love Derek Harmon, but he's going in the 1st round now, and he reminded me of like Leonard Williams. Got the high motor, big physical defensive tackle that can line up as a 3-tech. Who else was there? The kid from Indiana, CJ West, is another one. He a little bit shorter, but he's quick. It's just a deep class, man. And I didn't even watch the kid from Toledo, the Darius Leonard.
Yeah, we got him too in the interview.
And I'm
Darius
like,
Alexander, we got him too.
What Denzel Washington say in that clip? I got to leave here with something.
Right.
We better lead this draft with something, man.
Because you got Walter Noel from Ole Miss. You got they actually 3 good defensive tackles from Michigan. You got Mason Graham. I always forget the other guy's name.
Not Darby. Kenneth Grant.
Kenneth Grant. If he drops to the 2nd round, that's my pick. If we can get Kenneth Grant alongside Dexter Lawrence with Brian Burns, whatever you want to do with Thibodeau, I think we'll be good. Like, I know our run defense up the middle will be good. They just got to hold the edge. And go ahead.
Yeah, and I didn't know if he was going to switch subjects. So on the offensive side, there's a day 3 guy that I like a lot from Cincinnati, guy named John Williams. Coach Ed was commenting on the live that I was doing, and I asked him. I didn't get a chance to check back yet. I told him, when you get a chance, watch Cincinnati, because they got a guard and they got a tackle. The Luke Kandra. He's an old school guard. And then John Williams has fantastic feet. And I know when people say, "Oh, fantastic feet," I like John Williams a lot. And then I think he's one of those guys that might still be a sleeper. And we absolutely need a swing tackle. We need somebody that can step up. Because I love Andrew Thomas, but if he gets hurt, I'm not surprised. And instead of just disrupting the whole offensive line, and you're moving Illuminor to left tackle and somebody else to right tackle, and now you're shifting guards. Instead of doing that, go ahead and find yourself a solid swing tackle, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency, somebody that you don't have to play musical chairs. And we've been saying this for years now. We don't like this musical chairs. we don't like
it no more. After that first year when they was doing that with the boy from Oregon we drafted, they was moving him to center, guard, tackle, and all this crazy stuff. It don't work, man. Get you a solid lineup, man. But there's a bunch of offensive linemen and defensive linemen rich in this draft, and there's no reason why we shouldn't pull away with at least one of them. Well, three of them, to be honest with you. We need as much help as we can get.
Well, we got 8 or 9 picks. I can't remember now. I thought we had 8 picks, and I saw somebody say we had 9 picks. I thought it was 8.
I think we got 8, unless we're getting an extra comp pick. I know we're getting one from McKinney. I think we're supposed to be getting one for.
I think we already they already have that credited in the mock drafts. I think that the one was it
in the fourth round. The one in the fourth round.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, that's.
Are we supposed to be able to get a 5th rounder for Ben Bredesen with the Buccaneers though?
For as far as I know, something canceled that out, and I was pissed off about it. Something had canceled
what canceled that out?
You know, that formula is weird to me. It's only a few people that went to the University of Albert Einstein that could figure out that formula. Man, I don't know how they figured that formula out.
Yeah, I could have sworn we were supposed to get one for Ben Bredesen if he played so many snaps.
I did.
And he played all the snaps over there.
And he played well too.
Yes,
that's
he
another
did.
thing about these New York Giants. You got players that leave here and can
shine
to go play, right? Yeah.
That goes to the development, man. But
I want to say something to you though, real quick. And I think that the beat writers dropped the ball when it came to the combine, and they had Joe Shane right there to answer questions.
yeah.
Nobody asked Joe Shane, "Hey, what you gonna do with Evan Neal?" Nobody asked him.
Oh man, I was just thinking that too, but I didn't want to.
Nobody asked him that. They said, "Oh, are you happy about Saquon winning the Super Bowl?" But nobody want to ask him about Evan Neal switching the guard. What you?
Bro, they should have switched him to guard last year, or at least put him at left tackle to see what you had at left tackle. It was so weird, bro. Like you had the perfect opportunity to find out what this dude was. Can you salvage this man's career before his 5th-year option comes up to see if he could give you anything? And they dropped the ball. They went and signed somebody else practice squad. You got a number 7 overall pick.
It's nasty
sitting
work,
right there.
Nasty work.
It's this team is utterly ridiculous, bro. But I will say this: they have a chance to right some wrongs if they do what's right in the first round this year, and just get your quarterback. Just do that and see where everything goes from there. But you got to get some trenches, get your quarterback and get you some trenches. And you're going to have to spend big in free agency if you want to be here next year. That's just a fact.
Yep.
You go out there, and I know you said you wanted to see what Jalen Hyatt has at number 2. You roll Jalen Hyatt out there as your number 2 receiver, you're going to see what's up in the NFC East. You're going to see exactly what's up. He's not an NFC East type receiver if you're not using him as just a deep.
No, you're absolutely right. And for me, I don't necessarily want him as a number 2, just to clean that up. I just need to see what he is. I need good enough quarterback play to see what he, because one thing I'll say, I watched Detroit last year, and I watched J-Mo, and I watched how they used him, and you can't tell me you can't have a similar package. Maybe not everything, but like I don't want to see no end arounds with no damn Jalen Hyatt. That's for sure. We saw what that looked like.
Get him crushed.
Yeah, yeah, but there's definitely a way to get him open, or the way to make to be if not a distraction, but a viable threat on the field. And guess what? What do you expect a kid to do when you play him for one play in the first quarter, and then he don't see the field again to the fourth quarter for 3 plays? You can't get.
And that's a good game. That's a good game. You got to clock that game. You got 3 plays.
That's a fact. Oh,
man, this team is in so much turmoil, bro. I do appreciate you coming on. We're going to go to one last commercial break, and we're going to get Big Dash Knows final thoughts, man, right here on Talk Your Talk, man. Stay tuned in. right. That's the delay of game. Hey, Big Dash knows, man. Give what you think about this Giants team in general, and what do you think they have to do in order to salvage anything going into the season, bro?
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth a little bit with how these guys are going to handle, this team moving forward. I think when John Mara made that whole statement about things got to look a lot different this time next year, he put some pressure on these guys, and I think it kind of sped up the clock. We want this thing built the right way, and Joe Shane did say, I'm not going to do any kind of Hail Marys or anything like that. And then next thing you know, we in the Matthew Stafford business. Now we in the Aaron Rodgers business. And it's I even saw a rumor about possibly trading for Kyler Murray. You know what you need to do? Take your medicine, Mr. Joe Shane, Brian Dave. Take your medicine. Get a bridge quarterback. Don't break the bank. Use the money that you save on building the rest of this roster up. Get your franchise quarterback, your future franchise quarterback in here under the tutelage of somebody else. Maybe it's a Russell Wilson. Some people laugh when I say Jameis Winston. But get one of those type of guys in the building that's a leader and a good teammate and can actually mentor these kids. Not a guy that's waiting on his last hurrah, or a guy that's still trying to fight to prove himself in the league, like a Justin Fields or a Sam Darnold and stuff like that. But I do think, and I do hope, because I do think we have some players, and I do think if you build this team the right way, you can see better results faster than what a lot of people are expecting. And I don't expect a lot right now. I'll keep it 100 with you. I don't expect a lot, but I do have some demands. And then the reason why I have these demands is because what Joe Shane told me and what Brian Dable told me. Joe Shane told me that we're not far off. Well, show me that we're not far off. Brian Dable told me after the Colts game, look what I can do with consistent good quarterback play. So guess what? Go get yourself a quarterback. Go fix the rest of this roster since we're not far away, Joe Shane. And let's battle. Let's battle. Let's actually be competitive in the division first, and then we'll see what comes after that. But that's where I'm at with the New York Giants. They got a chance to actually turn this ship around and get it going in the right direction. This offseason is big though. Yeah, because they are on the hot seat for sure.
That's a fact. Both of them are on the hot seat, and I think both will be gone after the season. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So hopefully they get a Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward to give us a parting gift on their way out the door, because they don't spend no money in free agency and buy themselves a playoff team. They're gonna get a foot to their ass out the door. I promise you that. It's over with. But man, this has been episode 3 of Talk Your Talk right here on the Aboriginal Sports Network. Big Dash knows, man. I appreciate you, brother, for coming through, man. Showing some support, man. Glad everybody get to know a little bit more about Big Dash Knows. Go check Big Dash out right here on YouTube, Big Dash Knows, and shout out all your platforms, man, before we get out of here.
Yeah, man. I still haven't got the Facebook going, but is Big Dash Knows on all social media platforms. So that's Twitter or X, how they call it, TikTok, and Instagram, man. So show some love, show some support, man. And we're gonna keep this thing moving, man. Keep building.
Yep, keep building and keep going forward and do what the Giants can't do. Build something. But hey, appreciate you guys, man. This is episode 3, and we out, man. Peace.
Appreciate it.
or just the Giants organization that really put Daniel Jones in the forefront and carried him in that type of light, man, on national TV.
$223. The suspension also opens the door for the Texans to release Al-Shahir
Then in 1976, guess who was hired? Fans. This is where preference plays the biggest.
But I'm gonna have to knock this down and get the oohs and ahs of Houston.
Welcome to the Aboriginal Sports Network.